Goedemiddag, good day. My name is Johan Prins. I am your presenter on the civil drawings grade 11 for today. The language that we are going to use mostly English, but I will definitely also translate into Afrikaans, so that some of the concepts you Afrikaans better can understand. You will see that the slideshow is bilingual. It's Afrikaans and English. English is red, so Afrikaans is black. The reference book that we are going to use throughout this presentation is your textbook. That's the Johan Engelbrecht Engineering Graphic Design for Senior and Secondary phase, that blue book that you have. So any theory that will be handled is the theory that we'll find in that textbook. I'm trying to refer to the textbook as much as possible so that you can also do further study into the textbook. That's what you need. On the end of this slideshow or the presentation, you are free to ask questions, and I will answer the questions as fast as possible. Right, let's start. Pre-knowledge that you had in grade 10. In grade 10, you did a floor plan, but you only had a section up to a floor level. In grade 11 now, you will go with a section up to a ceiling height and not the roof. Die vloerplan word nou tot met die plafonlyn geteken teenoor wat dit was net tot by die vloerlyn in graad 10. Immediately there's one concept that I definitely want to show you the difference between the two. In civil drawings, we talk about a graphical presentation. That is to illustrate baths, washing machine, washing basins, and so on, toilets and sinks. In mechanical drawing, we talk about the term conventions, which is used for illustrate screw thread tolerances and so on. So die verskil tussen die grafiese simbole wat dan is in Afrikaans soveel maar grafiese simbole of konvensies. Jy sien, julle sal sien daai konvensies is highlight. Konvensies wat dan toleransie. Daai twee tipe goed moet nie verwar word in die siviele en meganiese tekening. En dan is daar ook 'n groot verskil op die tipe titelblok wat in siviele tekeninge of meganiese tekeninge. There's a big difference between the title block on a civil drawing and a mechanical drawing. On a civil drawing, you have to use a certain civil drawing title block. That also goes with your pad. Whenever you do a pad and you do a mechanical pad, then a mechanical title block must be there. A civil pad, a civil title block must be there. And again, we are talking here about the prescribed textbook of Johan Engelbrecht, page 11.7 and page 2.28. This is where you get definitely a nice difference between a civil and a title block. Then you must also take in consideration that most of the time we talked about a SANS compliant. Now, SANS compliant is the code of practice. And the code of practice is what all the drawing codes is being done. That's an international code. And the drawings must be done according to that international codes. You'll see it in many of the exam papers. There's reference to the SAN code, civil or mechanical. Right. Let's now start on the floor plan that we are doing now. First of all, if you look at the textbook on page 1126, you will find a small floor plan which is incomplete. Now, what do they expect that you must draw into that floor plan? Same as in grade 10. You have to show the windows. You have to put in the sanitary ware and the kitchen type of sinks and so on, and stoves, which they ask you. You have to put in the names of the rooms, the designation of the rooms, the kamers se name. And remember that on any drawing, when you put in any names or titles on the drawing, it must be in capital letters. That is one of the SANS prerequisites. Dis van die vereistes van die SANS, dat elke tekening moet hoofletters geskryf word. So onthou, daar word selfs in eksamen punte afgetrek as nie hoofletters gebruik word nie. Dan you have to put in the kitchen features to a given scale, drawing the hatching of the wall. And now I can mention to you that sometimes this type of plan adds about a third of that specific question in marks. Now, this is the easiest part. So there's nothing that says that I cannot get 100% mark on this specific floor plan. And that already constitutes about 30% of your exam paper. So this is a question where you can make marks and for the exam. You punte kan mark for yourself on the exam. Now, let's first analyze now a floor plan. A floor plan, there's space for window openings, there's outside walls. The outside walls is thicker than the inside walls, 220 on outside walls and inside walls 110 millimeter. You will find door openings, and if you look at that, there's a little place, smaller distance and a bigger distance, which actually shows the direction of what your door opening has to be. Then you'll get a roof line like that, and it shows you then what is the roof line of the pitch. That means that that's the pitch, the knock van die dak, and there's a slope towards this direction and a slope towards this direction. You must also remember that a section in civil is not the same section as what you find in a mechanical drawing. The section is only to show you what is the height, the heights of the walls and the inside and the configuration of the roof. In this case, you get two types of sections. You get a partially section, which is only a part, which will include, in this case, a window and the part that goes into the window, or you get a full section. And right now, be aware that this section is over the pitch of the roof and not along that side. So you want to do it over the pitch so that the roof structure later on can be shown. But this is the way. And look at the way that the section is being shown. The line, the section line. It's different than that of a section of a mechanical drawing. Now, when they give you this floor plan question, you will also now have a certain info how to fit it in and where to put what in. You will get a window schedule. Now remember the window spacing you see there. There's a height, there's that. And if this scale is 1 to 50, these drawings will be drawn into the drawings as 1 to 50. If it's a scale 1 is to 100, the scale of the drawing, this one is 1 to 50. But if it's a scale 1 is to 100, then all these drawings must be drawn in at a scale of 1 is to 100. Then there will be a bathroom and kitchen layout, or not layout, guidelines of what our bath and so on has to look. But now that is where now we get to the conventions. Dis nou waar ons tot die konvensies kom. As jy 'n tekening hier insit, dan word die bak nie so geteken. Hy word op 'n konvensie gedoen. En daar ek kom ons net nou by jou tekening wat daar is. Ons kyk verder na die vloerplan. Ek moet 'n venster nou invoeg volgens die venster schedule. I have to fit in a window according to the spacing or the window schedule. Now, there's only one way of drawing a window in a block. If you look there, you'll see that the space between the opening that they give to you is usually wider than what the window will be if you do it according to scale. So you fit the window on the one side and you lengthen the outside line of the window to show that the window is drawn into a certain scale. If that window is 2.5 meters, that means on a scale is 1:50, you will draw in 2.5 meters. If there's an opening, you open that. That is very important. The other important part is that the lines between, which shows the window frame inside, is in the middle of the wall. It's not on the outside of the wall, because then the window actually sits on the outside of the wall. It's not right on the edge of this. It's within the middle of the wall. Then if there's a windowsill of 'n vensterbank, dan word dit so 2 mm bokant buitekant daai buitemuur geprojekteer. The windowsill about 2 mm outside. That's the only way a window should be put in. If you get marks, they will allocate a mark for there. They will allocate a mark for there. They will allocate that mark if it's correct, the length, and they will allocate the mark for the windowsill. Now, you fit in then the windows. Next step, if you follow these steps, it's easier to complete these type of drawings. Next step is that you now put in the features and the features. Now, where do you get it? You find it now into the legend that they gave you in the question paper. Now, if you see now that in the question paper they give a drawing of a bath like that, but in real terms, on a convention, a bath should be done a plan view like this and a view on elevation like that. There's no way, other way that it's been done. If that bath is 2 meters long, and you see that is about 800 millimeters wide, then that drawing will be 2 meters by 800 millimeters, according to the scale of this drawing. And that's the only way. No extra drawings within that will be added. Look at the toilet. If you see there's the VC, WC. It's this last one, the last one there. You're drawing in according to size, that size and that size. The same happens with wash zinc, a zinc like that. Any lines in the zinc that comes in there will forfeit the marks of that whole drawing, because this is a graphical presentation. That is a graphical presentation. Right. Talk about the doors. You see the line of the door will not extend the opening. So that line can't extend down to there. And that arc must be an arc, not a straight line, which will close that area. So you put your compass down there, draw an arc, and bring that line down to put it into the specific length of the door. Right. What is now the next part that must be done is the hatching. The hatching at an angle of 45 degrees, and there is different ways of hatching. I didn't do everything here. Can you see with a brick wall, there's a double line, a bigger space, a double line, a bigger space. With mechanical, it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 lines. Now, that is the SANS document that we talked about there. The SANS, which will give you all this information of the hatching and rules and regulations of what to put into the floor plan. Right. So what is the important notes on floor plans? Wat is die belangrike goed wat onthou moet word van 'n vloerplan. Floor plans only differ regards of outline. So if you see any floor plan, whether it's big or small, or many rooms, or little rooms, or extra designations of garages, or whatever that's there, it's only the layout that will change. Out of this, you get various layouts, but all the info that you have to put into this drawing is exactly the same, always. This is one question where you can easily achieve your 100%. The info is only acceptable norm is to draw the info asked for. So if they ask for the info of a room, then you have to put that room's info there. In grade 11, you don't have to insert all the electrical components and wiring. That is only applicable on grade 12. Again, you remember I said that all printing that must be done on any drawing is capital letters. Nothing else but capital letters. And then they will also ask you what is the coverage of the floor, which is tiles or carpet or granule or what. Keep in mind that the scale of the floor plan is drawn. Adapt your info that you add according to that scale. All right. Now we're going to do the sectioning in depth. So nou die snitte heeltemal uitvoer van. 'n snit is nie 'n meganiese snit. A civil section is not a mechanical section. All civil sections are fundamentally the same. You've got a foundation, you've got floor heights, you've got a window, you've got window details, you've got roof details. And the roof details differ in its length or its width or the span, or is it a single wall or is it double wall. But all of them is exactly always the same. You will find that there is only a part section, that's what we showed there, a part section or a full section. A full section will be the walls over there, we can come to that, right through to the other side. The part section will only be a section through that area there. A section consists of three parts. There's an underbuild, the foundation up to the floor. There's a wall where there's a door and a window into it. And then there's a ceiling height and a roof detail. Now in grade 11, your sections only go to the ceiling height, and that's what we will now do. We will not do the roof detail as well. In graad 10, 11, waar die snitte bestaan uit drie gedeeltes. Daar's 'n onderbou, fondasie, vloerhoogte. Daar's 'n muur, die middelste deel die muur deur wat opgaan tot by die plafon hoogte. Dan is daar dakpersoon. In graad 11 word snitte net tot met die plafon hoogte beteken. There's now a typical section in your question. They will give you a question, and out of that question, they will give you all the dimensions needed to draw. You know that the foundation is 600 by 400 on an outside wall, which is 220. If it's an inside wall, which is 110, then the foundation will be 450 by 200 millimeter. That's always the same. That's always the same. You'll find that there's the only difference is that there can be from natural ground level, natuurlike grondvlak, that height from the natural ground level to the floor can differ. All depends on soil or ground conditions. You've got a height of the wall from the natural ground level to the top, or from the foundation to the top. You've got an inside diameter from the floor to the top of the ceiling. And sometimes we all know that your lintel height, or the height where the doors and windows fit in, is 2.1 meter from the floor level. So in this area, a window or a door will fit in with a height of 2.1 meter. Now this is example exactly what is the section in two ways: the outside section, outside wall, or an inside wall. This is a section of outside wall and a partially section there. Gedeeltelike snit, gedeeltelike snit. Binnemuur, buitemuur. Inside wall, outside. Now let's look at the underbuild. The underbuild is this area. And that's always the same. You've got a foundation, which is the given sizes in your question. The foundation is lower than your national ground level because it's filling. You fill up and compact, and that is where the foundation lies. There's a wall going up to a floor level, where a concrete slab will be through. In the inside wall, the same. Inside wall, a wall that will go up to the slab. And the slab will have skirting, and that is the underbuild. Now in grade 11, what we did, you did that in grade 10. In grade 11, what you'll do now, you will add now the height of the wall given, add a window or a door. In this case, it's a window. The window can be on different height levels. Or you put a door on the inside wall or a door on the outside wall will look exactly the same. A few things that you'll have to take in mind if you do a partially section is to put a section brick line on the position where you stop your drawing. All the lines will go up to the section line. The floor level, the abbreviation for floor level in Afrikaans is die vloerhoogte, is VL, we will get to that, and your natural ground level, which is the natural ground level. Abbreviations on those type of things must always be capital letters. Dam course proof, capital letters, volgweerlag. That is the dam course. It's where you put a piece of plastic into it, and that shows that the water penetration will not go through to the inside of the wall. The same happens here. There's water penetration from this side, will not go into the floor level. So that's a section then of your inside walls. And all of them is the same. The only difference that can be is that difference, the height difference. This height difference. And that you'll find in the question that they ask you, the question page. Now, if we take a full sectional view, it will look something like that. Now, go back to the section. There's the full section. Now, you see that the arrow is showing in this direction and this direction. So that is the openings that you'll see. You won't see that detail, but the detail to that. Now, again, you see when I put in a window, I omitted that specifically now. If I put in a window, the window will have the dimensions that they give into that question or window schedule that they give into a question. And this is according to the scale. If this is a scale 1:50, then that measurement is in the scale is the 1:50. Remember to put in the openings, and this can be a single line drawing. Doesn't need to be a double line to show the thickness of the steel or the dikte van die staal van die venster. Dit kan 'n enkeling tekening wees. The windows opening, look at the line type. It's not just a light construction line, it's a long hatching line. That's very important. Otherwise, they are going to penalize you on that specific line type. Again, now you've got the one outside wall with a window, and outside maybe a door opening on the other side. inside the door opening. If there's no door opening on the through that wall, it will be a solid wall. And then you start and you put all your abbreviations on natural ground level, floor level. There's your ceiling height. The thrust will start to lie within that opening. Die dak sal in daai gedeelte inpas en die dak sal dan verder geteken word daar. Okay. Now, just a few finer points on where door or a window is put into a outside wall or outside wall. This side is inside of the room. That's the outside of the room. In this case, they said there is a vensterbank or a window sill. Again, you see that is the way that you show just a thicker line the dam course. And this is the distance, that's the lintel, that's on top. They will give you the size of the lintel. Beyond that. Let's go. There's the lintel. According to the size, there's the windowsill, vensterbank. And you've got your brick course on the one side just to lift it up to the inside of the windowsill and the outside windowsill. You've got a concrete windowsill or a cement windowsill or whatever, the DPC, the Vochtweerlaag. Remember that I said it must be capital letters. Okay, now what happens when we have now to do the elevations in the drawing? If you do the elevations, that is now where the first angle of the graphic projection comes in. There's your floor plan again. Now what you see from this side is drawn on the other side. And that is the characteristic of the first angle of the graphic projection. So what I see from this side is the image I see there. If I now want to draw this image, I draw that image next to that one, and the same type of height schedules that I get there. They will give you the height of the wall, as we showed on the other side, the height from the floor level, so that you know what is the height from the natural ground level to the floor level. Again, look at the line of the floor level. It's not a faint line. It's not just a construction line. It's a long chain line. It's a type B line. If that line is not drawn according to that, you will lose a mark. Again, can you see that all the printing, the names was done in capital letters? There's a north point. Now the north show you now that the distance north is from that side, it's on the other side. So what I'm looking at from the south to the north. That is the south elevation. And that is the basic of a floor plan in a house, section and elevation. This is one question where you can really achieve marks. And usually your question 4 or the civil one is 50% of your question paper. And this, when you only do question 4 and you do it very well, you already passed your first paper. And it's a matter of repeat, to do the same thing over and over and do it neatly and correct. In Afrikaans, hierdie is een van die vrae wat jy werklik punte kan maak om jou IGO vraestelle in te slaag. Ek tel gewoonlik omtrent 50% van die vraestelle. Nou goed, kom ons gaan aan. Ek leg van 'n huisplan op papier, dan must draw it down on paper. Again, you remember that I said that there is a title block, a specific title block. Okay, title block left notes. There are 9 or 12 specific areas that you have to take in consideration. There's a scale, there's a people that own it, there's a title, there's the company logo. There are notes that you have to include there. But that you can see in the textbook. It's very, very clearly indicated in the textbook. Again, there's a floor plan. Out of this floor plan, where's the north? So if I look at that, I've got a southwest elevation. I've got a north elevation. This layout on the paper. There's the section. The section is not lying on the side. On the side, yeah, it's a wrong way. A section is there because on the section you will project your height of the walls into that. If it's now in grade 12, in your case, ceiling height, you will project that area down. You will project the height of the windows. You will project the height of the door to put the door in. You will project from there the door up. You will project these type of windows up into that direction. That is the situation of the first angle orthographic projection. So with the floor plans, you do fine. You do the floor plan, you fill in all the necessary info. This is now wrong because this is the old way. But that should be in the conventions now. According to scale. So the layout of your paper. There's the title block, some title blocks. Refer to Johan Engelbrecht's textbook, page 11.8, and there's a few different ones that you'll see. This one here comes specifically out of the code of practice. Now there is sometimes also abbreviated symbols that you use. For instance, if I put a bath, the symbol that I use for bath is a B. Dam course is DPC. Inspection eye on sewage, which you're not doing, you're only doing grade 12. It's very good to just to certain yourself with the type of symbols that you are going to use in grade 10, like a wash basin, a wash trough. Wash trough is that stainless steel troughs that you usually have on the outside of the wall to do the washing. Then you've got a water closet. Water closet. Water closet is a toilet. BC, water closet. In Afrikaans, kyk maar na die Afrikaanse vertaling. Wat ook gegee word. Sanitêre simbole. Sanitary symbols on Johan Engelbrecht's book. You'll find it on page 1124. There's a plan view, a bath, and it's only drawn according to that. If you put any extra things in there, it's not a symbol anymore. And that little outlay can be on any side wherever. The same happens with the shower tub. You put lines down there in the shower tub, it's not a symbol anymore. That is the only symbol. Same with single units or zincs, where you do the cups and saucers and the washing up. There's no lines like that to make it fancy. This is only the only way that a symbol is being done. Usually they give you a mark there, a mark there, a mark there, a mark there, a mark for this, and a mark for that. If there's any extra lines into it, they give you no marks because now it is not a symbol anymore. Right, stay down, flatten the curve. I hope that everything is there. If there's any questions, you can ask the questions now.
Yeah, the first question that I see here is, if we don't need to show the electricals, do we need to show the plumbing?
No, in grade 11, you will also see it in your guide that they gave to you in grade 11. It says limited to single drawing dwellings, first angle orthographic drawings with floor plans, elevations, sectional elevations, and showing the detail of the foundation to the ceiling. That includes annotation, labels, dimension, and scales, relevant abbreviations and conventions. As I said, conventions. All relevant views, front, or south elevation, north elevation, west elevation, or whatever. So you have to make sure that you have that knowledge of that. Hatching detail, acceptable perimeters and floor areas. They will also ask you maybe a floor area, especially in your analytical questions, where they ask you to work out the area of a certain building or whatever. And then format, content, the drawing, working, the names and the title blocks and so on. So there's no reference to electrical or plumbing that will be dealt in.
Okay, the next question is, when hatching the natural ground level, should we use instruments to draw it, or is it all right to draw it freehand?
You can do the underbuilt, those ones, and that one, and that one. You can do that freehand. But those hatching should be done with instruments. 45 degrees. Remember, you'll also see in the textbook there's various ways. This is a brick wall, but whenever they talk about a face brick wall, there will be a line inside, one single line between the spacing here. Double spacing, a little bit space, single line, little bit space, double. That's for the face brick wall. But those things you will find in your question. You must read your questions very well to see exactly what they talk about. There are certain hatching methods that you'll also find in the textbook on the pages that I showed.
That was the only questions in the question box.
Only question. So everybody
Yes.
understands this very well. That's great. I hope that you are going to make a big success out of this point. As I say, this specific question, the civil drawing, is always exactly the same type of thing over and over. You'll find different drawings in mechanical, different sections, different what. But in this one, you can prepare yourself absolutely just to draw what they ask you. The important thing is to really work on a set of why do I can't get now? Okay, is to work on a flow diagram basically. You see what I talk about a flow diagram? If I start there, I insert the window, then I go and insert the door. Something else that you must just making sure you can see there's a little green line that I put in. That little green line is a step that goes down from your floor level to your natural ground level. Outside doors always have that line if there's a step. Just you can even see it in your houses as well. Open the back door, open the front door, and you see there's a step to a lower level. Then do that. Then go and put in the conventions. After the conventions, put in the room designation, die slaapkamer gedeeltes of nodig. Dan werk in 'n vorm, 'n orde rondom dit, so jy weet jy doen al die werk op die regte manier. Moenie daai verskil in gedagte hou. Onthou, die venster word gepas. The window is fitted into the space and close the window. Make sure that line is on the same proportion. Make sure that you know the conventions and then the type of hatching.
Sorry, Johan, there was one last question that came in now. Are we ever expected to draw a floor plan to 1:1 scale and elevation?
If you draw a floor plan to 1:1 scale, can you fit it on your plate, on your thing? Go outside and measure the house that you have live in. Measure one of the walls. Can you fit that into a paper? No. That is why we use scales of 1:100, 1:50, 1:500 if usually on a site plan we use a scale it's 1:500. It's those scales that is going to be used in civil drawings. Did I answer the question on that? Scale 1:1 is just too big to draw to fit onto a paper.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was the only other question that came in.
Okay, everything fine. So we can end the.
Yes, I think so.
Still there?
So I think if there's no more questions, then I think we can finish the presentation off.
No other questions. Maybe I could just, from my side, while we're on, practice makes perfect. You cannot expect only to draw one floor plan and think that you are going to be good enough to draw an exam. In your workbook, you'll find various floor plans. Sometimes the floor plan is the only on one page and the section on the other page or whatever. But do as much as possible of those drawings. Pay attention to these things that I showed you now, and study the part of the work in the textbook. There you'll find a lot of extra information as well in your textbooks. It is mostly on chapter 11, and by means of that you'll get some more extra information about how to draw this. Anything else?
No, there's no more questions in the question box.
Miskien maar ook so 'n rukkie kans. Iemand is aan die deur goed werk en weer nog iets wil hoor.
No probleem.
The belangrikste deel, ontleed die vloerplan. Analyze the floor plan. Know what to put in, where to put it in, where to add. Look at the slope level so you know in which direction the section will be. Look at your scale, what scale it is. Secondly, then start to add these things into the textbook, into the question. And from there on, after completion of the floor plan, then you do the section first, and then project. Then project the views. Where is the view? Then project the view. Taking consideration of the lines plug that you do to do the window. So that window must look exactly like the one they ask in the question paper or in your window sheet.
One last question. How much time should you give to your civil drawing?
Well, if you've got a 3-hour paper, you can think that the civil drawing is usually about half of those marks of 300. There's 100 marks usually on the question, 200 marks on a paper. So that means that you can easily take about half of the time to do the question 4, the floor plan part, or the civil part. Taking consideration that what I will do in exam paper, I will attempt about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 20 minutes on question 1. Then I will attempt question 4. Question 4, I'll spend about 55 minutes. And then I've already completed 60% of my exam paper. Then I will attempt the question 3, which is a perspective drawing. That perspective drawing about 45 to 50 minutes. Then I've got enough, and then I completed 80% of my paper. Then I've got only question 2, which is a variation of choice of 3 variations, or 2 variations, and I'll spend the rest of the time on that question.
It seems like there's no more questions that came through. Yeah, so it seems like we've answered all the questions.
Okay, I hope that everything is fine.
100%. Thank you.
Thank you.